Thanks for joining us on Arirang News. I'm Kim Dami in Seoul. In light of National Memorial Day, President Yoon pledged to strengthen South Korea's power and global standing, as he believes that is the real way of paying back the sacrifices made by the nation's heroes. And he vowed to not sit idly by amid North Korean provocations, calling its recent sending of trash-filled balloons, quote, despicable, and saying the North should be ashamed of itself.
평화는 굴종이 아니라 힘으로 지키는 것입니다. 우리의 힘이 더 강해져야만 북한을 변화시킬 수 있습니다. 북한 동포들의 자유와 인권을 되찾는 일, 더 나아가 자유롭고 부강한 통일 대한민국으로 나아가는 일도 결국 우리가 더 강해져야 가능한 것입니다.
Now, this was from the main Memorial Day ceremony at Seoul National Cemetery on Thursday. Yoon also pledged to take full responsibility and expand medical services for those injured while serving the nation and to support the families of those who lost their lives serving the country. He also said African leaders who are visiting South Korea for the Korea-Africa Summit show their admiration for South Korea's fast growth, saying they would like to learn from the nation's experience. The two-day Korea-Africa Summit wrapped up on Wednesday. Not only did Korea's summit with the pro-African, pan-African bloc result in a comprehensive leaders' joint statement, but President Yoon also held bilateral meetings with a total of 25 African nations and the African Union on the summit's sidelines. Oh Soo-young has the details.
South Korea has struck deals with several African countries to cooperate on critical minerals, while helping Africa procure infrastructure, digital capacity, clean energy and food security. According to Seoul's top office on Wednesday, President Yoon held bilateral meetings with the leaders of 25 African nations and the African Union Commission on the sidelines of the first ever Korea-Africa Summit this week. While the multilateral summit between Korea and 48 African nations set the tone for broader cooperation, separate bilateral meetings were held for more customised partnerships. As Korea seeks to stabilise its supply of critical minerals, which are core components for its high-tech products such as semiconductors, Seoul signed memorandums of understanding on critical mineral cooperation with Tanzania, Zimbabwe and Madagascar. This reinforces the multilateral resolve to establish a Korea-Africa critical minerals dialogue. Mozambique agreed to strengthen cooperation in minerals, while Liberia is to participate in the multilateral dialogue. South Korea also agreed to help develop infrastructure including roads, rail, ports and smart cities in countries like Ghana, Lesotho and Rwanda. To support green growth, Seoul signed deals on procuring renewable energy sources. It will also increase technology sharing and assistance to boost farming and agriculture and help cultivate high-quality rice under the K-Rice Belt project in Madagascar, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau and Sao Tome and Principe. Maritime security, fisheries, digital technology and human resources training would help countries like the Central African Republic, Mauritania and Mozambique develop their natural resources in a sustainable way. Based on South Korea's experience of developing from one of the world's poorest countries in the 1950s and 60s to an economic powerhouse today, its Hemao or New Village movement will be shared with countries like Equatorial Guinea and the Central African Republic. To help drive progress in these areas and provide more market access for Korean firms, Seoul agreed to pursue trade and investment frameworks with individual countries and inked a trade cooperation MOU with the 54-member African Union. President Yoon has said Korea will continue to expand official development assistance up to $10 billion by 2030 as a catalyst for projects for cooperation with Africa, and will provide $14 billion in export financing to Korean companies over the next 6 years to stimulate trade and investment with the continent. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
South Korea, the United States, and Japan have agreed to explore ways to jointly invest in critical minerals and have formed a biopharmaceutical coalition with India and the European Union. This came as the three countries on Wednesday held their fourth round of economic security talks on supply chains, core emerging technologies, digital technology, and infrastructure security. Wang Yun-jung, third deputy director of Korea's National Security Council, held a regular dialogue in San Diego, California, with his U.S. and Japanese counterparts Tarun Chhabra and Yatsuo Takamura. They agreed to explore ways to jointly invest in core minerals and strengthen cooperation in policies related to data security and digital infrastructure. The three countries also formed a public-private Biopharma Coalition with India and the EU as an expansion of the first Korea-US dialogue on core emerging technologies last year. The group will aim to reduce vulnerabilities in the biopharmaceutical supply chain by cooperating on advanced manufacturing technology and coordinating on measures to diversify their raw material sources. A South Korean group of defectors from North Korea has sent 10 large balloons carrying anti-Pyongyang leaflets to the north. The Fighters for a Free North Korea said the balloons carrying 200,000 flyers and USB sticks containing trap music were floated early on Thursday from Pucheon, Gyeonggi-do Province. This comes 4 days after Pyongyang announced that its release of waste-carrying balloons was stopped temporarily, but would resume if South Korea sends anti-Pyongyang leaflets. Last month, the defector group sent 20 balloons carrying 300,000 leaflets. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Wednesday that he appreciates South Korea not directly supplying weapons to Ukraine, adding that Moscow is ready to restore relations with Seoul. The remarks came during a meeting with senior officials from international news agencies ahead of the annual St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Putin did not mention specific cases, but said that South Korea has caused problems in many areas of cooperation. He added that the channels are open on Russian side and that it is up to the South Korean leadership to decide. That's all we have at this hour. Arirang News will be back at 6 p.m. Korea time. Thanks for watching.